go in and retime those particular operations. Naturally, protest that part there. They disagree. They says, look, the precedent has been set by IUE back in 1948 in case number so-and-so, in building 40, refer to case. Therefore, we're going in and we're going to disturb the entire job. How insulting can GE get to sit across the table and tell us they're going to be the fellows that are going to determine as to whether the data is sound? We ask them as to what measuring method they use in determining whether the method in question is sound or not sound from the data they have available. And they say, we have various ways. One of those ways is, if the man is making too much money, we're going to go in and retime the job. The audacity of the company telling you there that if you're making too much money, if they think you're making too much money on the average earnings, they're going to go in. They're going to go in there and retime the entire job. That's what you're up against. And some of the old boys, the UE boys, are trying to put the blame on us because as of lately, the company's going in and continuing and carrying. We're going to beat GE on that particular part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Nichols. I understand that Edward Houchins, President of Local 119, would like to discuss the holiday question. Brother Houchins from Philadelphia, come up here, please. Would you come up this way, please?
Mr. Chairman, President Carey, fellow delegates, I think the question of holidays should be given very serious consideration again this year in national negotiations. I say again this year because we have taken this up in years gone by. The strings that General Electric succeeded in placing on holidays in the first contract negotiated regarding holidays back in 1947, which the UE accepted, has been a very troublesome subject ever since. We have, well, back in 48, I believe, was the first time we lost holidays due to those strings on the Christmas and New Year holidays of that year. As a result of that, we had over 400 grievances processed from Philadelphia local. They went to the New York level and they got buried over there by the UE. During the succeeding years, we went into IUE, and last year we were faced again with the same problem. We tried to get the company, General Electric, to agree in contract negotiations to pay for Saturday holidays. Even after Westinghouse agreed to do that, GE still refused. This last holiday battle in Philadelphia regarding May the 30th and the July the 4th holidays, we had a picket line around the Philadelphia plant before we got any concessions whatever from General Electric regarding payment to be made for people that were on 6-day schedules. They did finally agree to pay some of them. But a lot of people that we thought should get paid did not get paid. Now we're approaching negotiations in this spring of this year of 1954. And during 1954, we're going to come up with the same problem of Saturday holidays. Christmas in 54 and New Year's 55 will also fall on Saturday. I think it's very important that we make an honest effort of doing negotiations with GE, and even if it means that we've got to give them a fight on it, I favor doing just that. I thank you.
Thank you, Brother Houchins. Anyone else want to speak on the holidays? I think that Ed covered it pretty well. That's the thinking of the conference board last year and negotiating committee. This time I'd like to call upon Al Latano, Vice President from Local 255, to talk on the union shop. Brother Latano, come around this way, please. That's the thinking of the conference board last year and negotiating committee. This time I'd like to call upon Al Latano, Vice President from Local 255, to talk on the union shop. Brother Latano, come around this way, please.
Chairman, President Carey, and members of the GE Conference Board and guests. Just recently, back in our hometown, some members of our local union have assisted in organizing a couple of shops that, after the wind-up of the campaign, are negotiating contracts, and in their contracts, they negotiated for union shops. Believe me, being part of that campaign and organizing these shops, done my heart good to see that the people, after the contract was signed, the way they stuck together on grievance procedures and other demands that were made on the company. Now we feel that all employees should contribute to the cost of running the local and the international union, which is required to represent members and non-members by law. There should be no odd oxen. The load should be carried equally by all workers. Taxes on every wage earner are not undemocratic, and neither are union dues on every GE employee. The requirements of members includes the right to speak and vote on all issues concerning the union. This gives a broad support and democratic base to all union positions. The confusion created by unknown positions of the non-union members will be removed. The company will have notice that all their employees support the demands of the union, that once an agreement is reached, the union will guarantee observance of the agreement by every employee since all are union members. The education provided by the union and to its members makes them better citizens and better workers. That every employee in the GE into the union for the good of the country and for the good of the GE and IUE, and to turn around Wilson's statement, what's good for the GE is good for the country. Let's get a union shop, and what will be good for the country is good for GE, and since it's good for the country, it's also good for IUE. We hope, back in our local, since recently we've had an educational program for success.
Thank you, Brother Latano. In this morning's roll call, there was one little guy who we missed, and he's from a GE service shop in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Certainly wouldn't be good to overlook this little guy because you happen to be in his home territory. There's a little story about that group. They're part of General Electric. It's Local 262. And these people haven't been organized until recently. The UE lost an election several years ago when they had a strike, and the company was able to defeat the UE. When I first met these people, it was as a result of Angie Colella, our field representative, calling me up and asked if I could give assistance to a group of people who had just won certification to see if they could negotiate a contract with General Electric. Strange as it may seem, even though they're not part of the GE chain, the person we negotiated with was Coburn, who is out of Louisville, whom our local people in Louisville negotiate with on the local level. So they're all part of the same game, but they seem to keep this group apart. And I'm going to tell you why they keep them apart. I met with this group here in the Parker House, and so I went over some of the things that they had, and listen what they had. They get 2 weeks vacation after 1 year. They wear overalls, and they're all on salary. They get 11 paid holidays. They have the highest paid rates in the metropolitan area. That's what we call the metropolitan area here in Boston. And also they have 20 days sick leave, 5 days personal, and 5 days death in the family, plus the fact that they are able to use trucks. The little trucks that they use every day, they also take their families to the beaches on Sunday. So meeting with these people, I said, would you answer one question to me? Why do you want to belong to a union? And these people have worked for GE for a good many years. And they said, we like the local people we do business with, but we don't have any security. And we want security, and knowing the reputation of General Electric, We want it in writing, and that's why we want a union. So I said, well, why not just go in and sign a contract? You don't want anything else. You've got everything. We certainly would like it in the G chain. And these guys said, oh, no, we won the union, and now we want to get something out of this company. Well, as a result of several meetings, they finally were able to get an extra paid holiday. Got 12 now. They also got an 8.5 cent an hour increase. They also have something that none of us have, as far as everyone in the shop. They have a hiring rate, the lowest hiring rate of $1.50 per hour, but they have automatic progression to the top of the rate, which is $2.10 per hour. Well, I say it's nice to have him here today because he's certainly got a contract that we'd like to shoot for. And Ray Raciot is over there from Local 262, and he's the president of the local. I wish that you'd take a bow, Ray, please. At this time, we are going to discuss the guaranteed annual wage, and I see there's a hand up over there from UAW-CIO, Gus Larson. Want to come up here, Gus, please? I sense that strike. The reason I like to do that is because that we know of all the vicious lies that the General Electric Company sent out here to your papers out here east during a strike and since that strike. He likes to make you believe that we in Avondale were busted up and broken down to practically nothing. And of course, that is not so. In July, I was elected together with our new president, Jack Connors, who at the present time is in unemployment conference in Washington, D.C. and could not attend. And since the strike, I must say that we lost approximately about 600 members during the strike. You know, the contract we have this 30-day deal that you're kicking out of the union one day and in the union the next day. And of course, we'll be talking about union shops. That's one of the reasons we want it. But since the time of the strike, I shall give you a true picture of what we are doing in signing up the people in that plan. We really have a problem because the people that we have to sign up are the people who broke our picket line. And of course we have a lot of dissension there from the good union people who stayed out the 9 weeks, and rightfully so. But at the same time, we had to get down and talk things over, and we could only come to one conclusion, and that was that we had to work to try to get those people back into the union. Forgive and forget. And that we are doing. And I'd like to tell you that we have been in office. We have signed an average of 130 members a month. That is not the net gain. That we are gaining was this last month, right before all that, we had to report in from the company, and we gained in the last month 90 members. And we are continuing gaining. By the time that contract time comes around, which will be 1 month later than IUE, we are going to be prepared. One of our programs that we campaigned for while we was running for election was the program of getting together with the IUE-CIO around contract time, because we thought that there was nothing more important than that we all were united and stood together against one of the most vicious companies that I have ever had contact with in contract negotiations. So the reason I'm telling you those things, so you can understand that we are
in the UAW-CIO in Avondale, fully behind your proposals and your program, and that we will back you to the hilt. On the annual wage program, I don't think that I have to say too much. We all know that our beloved President, he believes us for the care he told you, that we are entitled, the workers in the plant, in the shop, are just as much entitled to a guaranteed annual wage as any of the big shop or any of the office workers in the GE. And we are certainly going out to get it. I thank you.
You heard from a fellow who knew something about a 9-week strike with GE. We also have a fellow here who's got his hand up that's finished up a strike recently with GE. Tex Hartman, the president of Local 925 in Linton, Indiana. Would you come up this way, please, Tex?
Brother delegates, friends, we concluded a strike down there in Linton against GE of 10 weeks duration. I am not too proud of the fact of the way it was concluded. However, we did get some wage increases that helped us considerable to what we had, but it sure as heck wasn't enough. We suffered a job down there in the way of a sellout. Told the foreman that their job depended entirely upon selling the people of Linton the fact that the plant was going to move. Immediately, they didn't accept this wage offer that the company had offered. These people were somewhat under pressure after 10 weeks, and with their majority of their leadership gone in the 3 days, the company was able to sell them on that proposition, and we'd gone to New York fully expecting and being endorsed to getting 2 bits across the board. And when we got back, we got a return to work vote at us, and we like to got run out of the hall. But anyway, those things in the wages, we probably have another chance, and we're going to try very, very hard to get some more out of it and get up to where you other people are. We did get, I think, one of the best supplements through constant bickering and negotiations with them on layoff and rehiring procedure and seniority that there is in the chain. I've read quite a few of them, and I believe ours